Hey everyone, Matt aka Sundating out here, and welcome back. Today is going to be another video covering none other than ClareLabellerose. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen the previous video, I'll have a link in the description and the pinned comment. But the long and short of it is, Claire herself has become an extremely problematic and controversial person over the last few months, from allegedly discussing sexual interests in Kings of Minors to death threats. Also expressing desires for the murder/rape of certain people while thinking sexually about it. Now again, same as the last video, I ask that you do not harass or attack anyone mentioned in this video. This is simply for informational purposes, as Claire has genuinely become a harmful person. Also, there is very sensitive content in this video, so if any of this isn't for you, feel free to click off here. Alright, with that out of the way, sorry, excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into it. ClareLabellerose, or Claire Gunderson, is what is known as a junior voice actor, previously having roles in MHA fan dubs, Yandere Sim fan projects, and even had a role in an acclaimed short film called Mune. And before I continue, none of that is a dox. This is public information you can get by simply looking up ClareLabellerose. So, before that claim is made, this is, again, public information that is literally at your fingertips. You can look up at this moment. Anyways, with that out of the way, sorry, excuse me. But, anyways, from there, she was, a pretty normal voice actor, taking roles in fan projects and the like. Yet, that had all changed in November of 2023, when allegations had come up with her being sexual with minors. At the time, there wasn't any solid evidence, just screenshots that were suspicious at most, but nothing outright. But, on December 16th of 2023, a new situation had come to light. A Twitter user by the name of It's Fago had been exposed for lolicon. For those of you who don't know, It's Fago, it was a popular FNF creator doing art for mods, backgrounds, things of the sort, and he had gained a pretty major following. At first, his defense was that he really didn't know the character's age, and then later on being, they may have been young, but it was only a one-time thing that he wasn't paying attention to. Now, this is where Claire comes in. Most of the screenshots have been lost to most of the time, but this is a situation that had made me personally involved. A friend of mine by the name of 8-Bit Denio had mentioned me in the post outing Fago at the time, because then people had known me as someone who would pretty much, out and talk shit to whatever predator had shown up at the time. What I had done was I had posted some screenshots I was able to pull from Fago's account and pointed out how he lied about it being a one-time thing, and showing that he did indeed know the ages of the characters. The images had shown him, liking and reposting multiple images of minor age characters such as Tails, Cream the Rabbit, and the like. But Fago aside, Claire had become involved by making a reply to mine and a few other posts with an image of her original character putting some other character in the blender with the accompanying text, "Hop off my mutual." This had come off extremely concerning to me, and I had questioned her about it because, using murder art as a response to someone she knew being outed for pedophilia was extremely concerning. Her response was that there have been numerous false allegations against Fago in the past. She had originally apologized for the image, saying she was just fed up with him being called out, and when it was confirmed all the screenshots were true, she had deleted all her posts. And from there, we had all thought it was finished. That is, until a week later, where shit practically hit the fan. The doc I'm about to go over is from a user by the name of Shet. The interaction between Shet and Claire is what I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead here, I can't read. Apologies. Where was I? Yes. The doc I'm about to go over is from a user by the name of Shet. Let me just pull that up for y'all. If I can get this to work, sorry. Okay. Now, as you can see at the top, there is a lot that we're going to go over here. But as you can see from here, this is going to be a possibly triggering doc. There is a lot of concerning things mentioned here, so I will once again say, if this kind of content is sensitive to you, feel free to click off here. You know, no one will be hurt by that. You can either skip if that's what you need to do, that's fine. Alright. Sorry, I'm trying to get this all to work for y'all. Okay. Now, a quick background before we go over the doc. Shet is a minor. If I'm not mistaken, they are 14. So, off the rip, that can show you this is pretty concerning. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit. But, yes. Also, none of this is censored, as you can see. So again, if that kind of content is sensitive to you, I do apologize. Feel free to click off or skip ahead here. Okay. Now, again, as you can see, I will show the accompanying screenshot after reading this, but Shet's response goes as follows. This is my first time making an exposed doc, or whatever you wish to call this, but this is in no way a doc about everything about Claire's history. It's about the harassment I've been receiving from her and her audience. I know Claire has been harassing others, and to anyone who has been attacked by her, you have my full support. Recently, around December 29th, Claire responded to a post I made satirizing her character since she had a history of harassing others and being a generally terrible person. Mind you, it was just a redesign. I made a persona, and there was no gore especially. It was just poking fun at a harasser. Now, as you can see, this post was considered comical at most by anybody reading it, even myself. But, as you were about to see, Claire simply didn't see that way and took it to heart. So I'll show the accompanying post. This is Shet's drawing, against satirizing Claire's original character. As you can see, Claire had Shet blocked before making the post, but then unblocked me and began making replies to the post. Most of these are out of order, but they all basically come out. Sorry, this is very disjointed, as you see, Shet said. But they all basically came out at the same time, since they were all constant and sporadic. Now, as you'll see, I'm about to go over Claire's responses. Claire's original responses go as follows. Your OC is an ugly slut and deserves to be put in the middle of a human centipede. The next one being LOL, that's the ugliest bitch on earth, just like you. Either way, look at a real queen, which is accompanying a picture of Claire's original character. Firstly, telling a child that their character is a slut and deserves to be in the middle of a human centipede is extremely wrong and disgusting to begin with. Then, expressing wishes for their murder and calling Shet themselves a slut. Keep in mind, again, Shet is a child. And for those wondering, that way you don't have to look it up since it is quite disgusting, a human centipede was a Nazi experiment done by Dr. Josef Mengele to find a way to make Jewish people experience a quote-unquote fate worse than death. It entailed sewing the mouth of one person to another person's anus and expanding from there. That in and of itself is self-explanatory as to why Claire's response is extremely wrong. But let's continue. And I will say this again, these screenshots are uncensored, and the next few do include drawn dismemberment and blood. If you are sensitive to that kind of content, please feel free to either skip or click off here. Now, with that out of the way, this is where one of Claire's friends, Devin, comes in. I'll talk a bit more about him later. If I can go down, as you can see, we have her talking about murdering, calling Shet a slut, things of the nature. And here is Devin's response. As you can see, the issue here is immediately apparent. So let me just go on ahead and go past. But as you can see, as you saw there, he had begun to send Shet the murder fic art piece. later trying to say that Chet's attempt was gross and disgusting and that Claire's will always be superior. Then, as you can see here, or excuse me, let me zoom that in so y'all can see it. Just zoom in a little there, there you go. But as you can see, him and Claire had begun to talk about ways of murdering Chet's OC. The next screenshot is Claire responding to Chet again, but this time with a lively joke image from another one of her friends, Reefer. He'll be talked about alongside Devin later. In the screenshot I'm about to show, here's the, lively joke image, and afterwards we'll show another one of Claire's responses where she attempts to call Chet a Nazi and tries to push the idea of Chet being a racist for quote-unquote whitewashing her character. Meanwhile, Claire's original design is in line with the definition of whitewashing, but that isn't exactly important. She also tries to incite the idea of Chet being a pedophile by quote-unquote using an outfit for elementary schoolers. I'll go down and show it, as you can see here. Have a chance to read. Now, firstly, Chet themselves is a child. Second off, the outfit used by Chet is a traditional Japanese school uniform. As I'll show you below, Chet goes over, the comparisons between, her character, the outfit used, and Claire's design. Yeah. And here, Claire talks about having a body dysmorphia episode about the art, saying that, it gave her flashbacks, and that was hurtful, things of the nature. Which doesn't line up with the post-history afterwards, seeing how Claire had immediately went to trying to defame, Chet's character and just consistently showing the same murder fic image over and over again. Let me move this over. So let me open this so y'all can better see it. We'll continue reading off of Chet's doc from here. Claire also says that I drew her with her abuser. Again, not many people know about this, and it's a point she uses to make other people who have called her out look bad. I drew her with Senpai FNF, a fictional video game character. Claire claims that her ex used Senpai as a self-insert in their relationship. Again, barely anyone knows about that detail of her past, and it's quite weird to put the blame of your abuser on a fictional character instead of them. And she uses this fact as more of a crutch to attack others who joke about her. Now, next we'll cover the general harassment accusations Claire had put towards Chet. And again, the doc says as follows. Because of these events, Claire has been constantly quote retweeting me to her large audience with constant false claims about me as a person. Claims that I'm not black and that I defend Nazism because I look like Hitalia and Senpai is blonde and blue-eyed. Spoiler warning, I am black and Jamaican and I don't support Nazism. As you see, Claire's response goes as, to be honest, I doubt they're black. The fact they're defending Nazism is hilarious. But I'm just hurt and upset that they're taking my IRL self-representation and turning her into this Nazi fetish bait and shipping her with my IRL rapist. And again, as Chet said, that part about Claire was not known, and it honestly is a concerning point to instead shift the blame not from the actual abuser, but onto the character and use that as a crutch against others. Also, Claire's next response goes as follows. Also, you like Italia, which literally mocks the Holocaust. Says enough about you, which falls under Claire trying to accuse Chet of Nazism. And it keeps going. Claire says, they probably drew over Hitler, not gonna lie. No wonder they love Senpai. Senpai looks exactly like the race of men Hitler aspired for his quote-unquote master race. Which, again, none of that was posted with substantiating proof, and this is simply Claire trying to defame Chet's character. And next response says, QRT, it spread the word as well as report. This is a Nazi version of my Sona. So there you see Claire throwing out another blatant lie and attempting to have Chet mass reported, which again falls under mass harassment, which is an offense. And Chet's document continues as follows. Again, this is insensitive as fuck for anyone to say. There are actual Nazis on this platform, and throwing around the term like this does not help anyone. All it does is hurt the person you're directing it towards. Your validity, sorry, I can't say that word to save my life. Your validity and actual victims. I am not a Nazi, Claire. Please stop telling your 200 plus followers that I am. And then this is where, Shet has shown, their forearm, trying to show that they actually are black. And their response goes as follows. I'm black and I'm heavily against Nazism. Slinging these accusations against a black minor isn't the win you think it is. Claire had quote tweeted the response saying this. Says the woman who made a Jewish woman white and skinny. A character who represents an IRL person. Again, the problem with that being that Claire had never stated that it was a representation of themselves. Also, the fact that they have said on multiple occasions that the character is white, and that point does come up again later on. I will talk about it when it comes up, but saying that they're whitewashing her character. And then Shet's document continues as follows. Even when I show proof that I'm black, which is weird that I have to prove it, here's her doubting me when I say that I'm not a Nazi, and trying to make me appear anti-Semitic for quote-unquote whitewashing her persona. Again, read above, because the references I use to make her look quote-unquote white and don't have her ethnic features she claims they have. Again, that just as I showed you in the beginning, of Shet's version of the character meant to satirize was more so actual ethnic depiction. Meanwhile, Claire's does follow the average definition of whitewashing, but again, that point isn't necessarily important. Shet goes on to say, she also calls me a stalker. I'm not. She mostly uses this whenever I have screenshots from her account that show that she's a terrible person. I never stalked your NSFW alt. You replied to a threat about you with your public NSFW alt and interacted with minors on that account. Me simply pointing out that your account was NSFW isn't stalking. I just checked the bio. Now, I personally can atone for that part. Claire does tend to use the point of someone being a quote-unquote stalker anytime a screenshot or a post is shown from her account of her continuing the situation, consistent harassment and attacking someone just for calling out her behavior. Now, as you can see, Shet made a post saying I have some screenshots of her from my alt, like how do you call Senpai FNF your rapist ex, then publicly announce how you want Ninja Muffin to be SA'd. This point is of mixed thought, as the people involved did have differing opinions, although for explanation, Claire goes on multiple times to say that Ninja Muffin, one of the main Friday Night Funkin' developers, should be sexually assaulted in jail due to him also being exposed for pedophilia. Like I said, that is a point of confusion in the community, as some people agree and some people don't, although I personally do believe no one should wish sexual harassment on anyone, regardless of what they've done. That is not an experience you should hope someone goes through. But Claire's response to Shet's post goes as follows. Guys, we found the stalker who stalked the NSFW alt too. Put this energy into school, bro, and not into whitewashing self-insert OCs. Again, that point is practically moot, as Shet didn't stalk an account, just simply posted images of Claire continuing the situation. And also calling, Shet's satirical drawing whitewash is a moot point as well, when Shet's original drawing was an accurate ethnical representation. Oh, sorry. Allergies are messing with me. And Claire made another post again to the original comment a whole day later, saying, should also specify that despite claiming to be a minor, this MF stalked my NSFW accounts. Freak. Again, Claire had used the NSFW account to publicly interact with people under the age of 18 and to continue the situation with constant harassment and attacking. And then Shet's doc continues as follows. Again, I never stalked anyone on any NSFW accounts. You interacted with a thread I was in with your NSFW account, and I simply checked your bio and commented on it. What's obsessive and stalking is constantly replying and quoting my posts and inciting harassment. People getting screenshot of your public posts and using them as evidence to show that you're problematic isn't stalking. Again, the post you see here that says from suspended account, that is from that is from one of the original people whose name has been lost due to the whole situation. And the post goes as follows. You have the original suspended post, and then the reply says, "Ill, you're still alive." Next one says, "They are so lame." And then the next says, "I love how it had to go on an alt so its followers would have to tell it to stop again. LMFAO." And then that is where Shet mentions that it is their alt NSFW account. And then the next person replies with "gross." And as you see from Shet's next response here, I am not a pedophile defender. I don't like being public about my experiences, but something happened to me when I was little, and this situation made me remember it. With that, it's really upset having the word pedo defender thrown at me for saying Ninja Muffin, as problematic as he is, doesn't deserve to be sexually assaulted. I wasn't defending him, and I was condemning his actions as I explained myself. Sexual assault isn't something to throw around, which, again, I personally do agree with that point. Sexual assault isn't something to wish upon people or use as a punishment for something someone has done. That simply fuels it and causes it to continue. And then the next, you have another one of Devin's responses and Claire's. Claire's goes as follows. "This is them stalking my account, defending a pedophile. Help me out here by QRTing this here," which is shit showing a couple of Claire talking about, wishing sexual harassment, things of that nature. Then Devin, who, again, I said we'll talk about later, going on to talk about Shet, saying they do legit worship Ninja Muffin, who is a pedophile that liked NSFW of literal fictional children, and Goon Hatsune Miku, as well as be racist and anti-Semitic. Again, no one is defending his actions, simply saying that sexual assault is not something you should wish upon him, as goes for anybody else. And then Shet says as follows. "Claire, if you were a victim of SA, why would you want to subject another person to that? Why would you want to make an alleged abuser to you a victim? It is a degrading thing to put someone through, and you say that FNF fans don't take these topics seriously," which, again, is another valid point of concern. She does seem to consistently say that, no FNF fan takes sexual assault or pedophilia seriously when she herself simply uses it as a joke and hopes it could be a punishment. This next response is someone talking about, Ninja Muffin's actions and Claire's response to it. So Melly here says, "Yeah, Ninja Muffin is a whole ass pedo, needs to be locked up so that he doesn't end up SAing someone or grooming a child. It's nasty AF how he was straight up liking CP," which, again, Ninja Muffin can be a whole thing of his own, so I won't go into too deep detail here. But Claire responds with, "He deserves to get SA'd by Bubba. Taste of his own medicine." Again, sexual assault is not something you should wish to be a punishment. That is a genuinely harmful thing and should not be brought down to a joke. And Shet's document continues as follows. "Claire has also shown my account /art to an NSFW account, implying that they'll draw even more gore art of them. Again, minor in my bio, and it's really creepy that she's so quick to ask for gore, even if it is terribly drawn to her audience of mostly adults and NSFW following that targeted towards a minor." Again, this is another valid point of concern, for I have personally seen this and experienced this. Claire's first instinct is to go to Devin, who was mentioned earlier, to draw gore or harmful art of anyone she is having an issue with as a means of silencing them. The next response you see here is the previous post was from Claire's now suspended NSFW account, where she was asking for the gore art, and the person here who was going to draw it responded, "Blood for the blood god," and Claire had shown Chet's post to said person. Again, keep in mind, Claire is in her 20s, Chet is a teenager, showing her account and art to have the art drawn. And then Chet's document ends here saying, TLDR, this situation was an entire mess, and I don't think Claire should have a following, since she isn't below using them to silence any criticism she gets to constantly harass others. She's irresponsible, childish, and pulling this against a far smaller account could have led to something dangerous happen. She will use anything to make her quote-unquote enemies look bad. She will harass people and then cry to her followers when someone pokes fun at her. I am not a Nazi, stalker, racist, whitewasher, skinny washer, or whatever Claire wishes to throw at me. And even if what I did was horrible and childish as well, I never made false accusations against her, nor did I promote anyone to spam, report, or harass her. All of what I said has proof via screenshots and report from people who have dealt with her in the past. And as the adult in this, Claire shouldn't have used her entire audience to target a small account of a minor while calling me names that actually ruin people's lives. Chet ends it here saying, that's all for my response, and thanks again to the people that supported me and called out Claire, and a huge sorry to those who had to deal with her. Now, again, as someone who has been personally involved in this since day one, that is consistently reoccurring behavior with Claire. She will go on to, poke fun at anybody criticizing her or asking questions about her behavior, but then when the script is flipped and questions again are begged, she will use her following and friends to try and say something about anybody else. Usually in the form of gore art, gore images, or just simply bullying into her silence. Now, this next document I will cover is essentially just a bunch of screenshots, covering things Claire has said. And I will start off with saying there is some incorrect information, which I myself will correct as I go. Let me simply pull it up. Sorry if I can get that framed properly. Okay. Now, the first screenshot, as you can see, involves me. This was later on in the situation where me and her had come to an agreement to take down any posts involving her or Devin and anybody else, as well as stopping any harassment or instigation against said people, which would be me, Claire, and Devin, and as well as Reefer and her, and as well as Claire's boyfriend. And as following text says, the millionth time she said she stopped, which is maybe an exaggeration, but it is close to true. She had said that to multiple people, but yet continued to peddle the situation. The next one is Claire talking about sharing someone known as Camilla, who was, as you saw in the previous video, the Pika user. This is Claire talking about sharing their info through Kiwi Farms and doxing them, of trying to make them into the next quote-unquote Christian, but again, deciding against it. The accompanying text is incorrect, partially. Camilla is, again, not a minor, they are 22, but the next text saying she was sent to the hospital, and Claire posting their address, face, things of that nature is also correct. That is what Claire had considered, and Camilla did end up in the hospital for a few days because of all this. The next screenshot is Claire essentially discussing racism and saying you cannot be racist towards white people. This was in a group chat between me, the user you saw above, okay, and Claire. Claire says that white people are annoying, LMAO. The fact he's so personally offended by me hating on white boys is sad. You can't be racist towards white people, and homophobic is funny considering he's extremely transphobic and homophobic. I'm bisexual and I like men and women, and I disprove the Zionist shit in my own doc. The part she meant towards me about saying I'm personally offended by her hating on white boys is I simply told her that it doesn't matter what skin tone you are, you can be racist towards anybody. Also saying that I'm extremely transphobic and homophobic that was in remarks to me saying that the drawings shown from earlier, by Shet, she was trying to call them transphobic drawings of her, and I simply asked her how are they transphobic when Claire herself isn't trans and there was no gender change in the images. Also calling me homophobic was me saying that I don't want, she was saying that, she hopes I would be molested and things of that nature. And I simply said, I don't want that. Who would? Also, as you see here, the text says she's white and was lying about being French for some reason, probably to seem cool. Straight, she hates any woman who isn't herself and only says she's bi so she can have something to be oppressed over when people call her out. Claire also claims anyone who is mean to her is transphobic despite her being trans, which again is another point. Most of the time in the responses you will see later on, Claire tends to call anybody being rude to her transphobic, as apparently she is trans, although again going on record to say that she isn't trans and she is a straight white woman, which very contradictory responses using different identities to try and make herself seem as a victim. And in this next screenshot, this is where Devin and Reefer come up. This screenshot right here is where the animal gore thing came from, or at least started with. Devin had talked about me saying that he feels like beating the shit out of some asshole right now. Reefer then responded saying send them animal gore IDFK. Devin then responding with they have their DMs closed. That was a problem in the beginning of the situation after Claire had gotten involved, which then caused Devin to get involved. That him and Reefer had went on to span multiple people as young as 14 and the oldest being 22 with animal gore and SFW. And again, as you see here, legitimate transphobia and Nazism from both Devin and Reefer. I'm sure it doesn't really need any explaining, you can read on your own. And it just keeps going. Claire tries saying that, watch us try and call them anti-Semitic, while Reefer being Jewish. Also this, I cannot really zoom in on it much. Let me move down a little bit. We're not going to go into that yet, but the image shown was Reefer using a burner account to Photoshop a tweet from Shet showed earlier, them saying, or photoshopped into saying they like little boys and girls, then proceeding to call them a pedophile. Then Reefer admits that the burner is them, which you can obviously see the issue there. Firstly, Shet is a teenager. Second off, photoshopping proof to try and frame someone as a pedophile is extremely concerning behavior, also quite illegal. And then the accompanying text to the screenshot saying, this is the neo-Nazi guy I mentioned before. Claire claimed to not know him until shown proof of them talking. There is plenty. And the one with the animal gore mentioned was then mad that a child, again let me correct that there, I am not a child, I am 18, almost 19 years of age. Had their DMs closed so they couldn't send them anything, and the one with hanging is in a quote retweet of some random trans girl's selfie. Claire defended all this as being free speech because this is all stuff she also believes in. And again, yes, that is another point. Claire did try defending both Reefer and Devin before later condemning them when peace was originally made, saying that, there is a right of free speech and that nothing they said was inherently harmful, it is just pictures on the internet. Which, again, you can see the big problem there. Just because you are saying things on the internet doesn't mean it is not harmful. Wishing things like that and discrimination of a group of people is inherently wrong no matter who it's against or why it's being used. Now, the next screenshot I will show is sexual in connotation, so if you do not want to see that, feel free to click off or skip ahead, because it is honestly quite weird. Oops, sorry, my computer is freaking out on me. Give me just 2 seconds. Right, there we go. Now, I'm not going to show the full thing, but it goes as follows. It is essentially Devin drawing art of a 16-year-old character, mind you, having intercourse with his character while a knife is in them, which also applies to murder fetish. Again, you can see the problem there. The character being... Oops, sorry, what is... My recording is being weird. Hold up, give me just a second. Okay, sorry about that glitch, y'all. My recording is acting up for whatever reason, I don't know. But again, as you can see, the problem here, Devin's original character that was shown is in his 20s. Meanwhile, the character used is 16 years of age. That is pedophilia, and obviously you can see the issue there. Let me just skip over this real quick so you don't have to see that. Okay, now again, I won't show the full thing because it is extremely disgusting, but this is a DM Claire had sent to me, and I will correct it now. The information you see afterwards is incorrect. Again, I am not a minor. I am 18, almost 19 years of age. But Claire had essentially drawn some art of her menstruating on a character and then sending that to me while saying tee-hee. Obviously, you can see the problem with that. Nobody wants that. That is disgusting and abhorrent behavior. And not only did she send this to me, she also sent this to multiple minors as well, which again is disgusting behavior. Now, the next few screenshots I'm about to show are some of Claire's racism. Quick context, Shet had drawn a original character, this time being an actually original character, not a satirization of Claire, but Claire had caught wind of it and had assumed it was meant to essentially make fun of her character and had proceeded to make racist remarks about it. Yeah, she's here, making jokes about it, apparently looking obese, being called a poo child. Yeah, as you can see, it's honestly fucked behavior. Calling, people of color poop people simply because you don't like them is obviously not okay. Racist remarks in the slightest are never tolerable and should always be condemned. As you can see here, this accompanying text states as follows. One of the many times she refers to black people as quote-unquote poop people. She really doesn't like black people at all and is also known to call them monkeys. I have not personally seen that, nor have seen any screenshots, so you can take that part with a grain of salt. I'm sorry, all my allergies are beating the hell out of me. Now, the next two screenshots are from Claire. One is responding to Ninja Muffin, and another was my response to Claire. It is genuinely concerning. This first one you see was Claire talking about Ninja Muffin getting off to a picture of a child. I'll show it as goes below. Yeah, as you can see, Claire's talking about him getting off, and the next person is saying, "Isn't Ninja supposed to be the pet, or you guys?" And then Claire says, "Not the baby." And then this one is in response to me making a response about it. Her saying that I love getting, having intercourse with children. You can see the problem with that. I obviously asked people to report that because remarks like that are honestly never okay in the slightest. honestly, I don't even know what to say about that, because, yeah. Now, the next screenshot I will show you is Claire again asking one of her friends to use their NSFW account to go and, you know, continue the situation, keep, talking, using, harassing people through their NSFW account. Keep in mind, most of the people involved were minors, some as young as 13, and most bordering on almost 19 to 20. Uh, Let me scroll that up for you real quick. Here you go, as her, talking about it. The text says, after her and her goons got blocked by most of the kids she's harassing on their main accounts, she started telling them to send stuff on their NSFW accounts, again exposing kids to NSFW, and telling them to send more gore to kids, sexual gore too. The plan you see stated here was mass spamming people with murder fic art, animal gore NSFW, and regular gore images. Again, that is extremely problematic behavior, and exposing that to children is, again, extremely problematic and can cause a concern. The next image I will show is, again, of Reefer, who manages to come back up, is him spamming art of essentially a quote-unquote live leak joke of a minor's OC. I will scroll down to show you that. Again, the dude who was practicing Nazism, referencing a minor's OC being beheaded on live leak. Again, that is extremely problematic, and exposing that to literal children is, again, never okay, and is very concerning behavior. Now, this next screenshot I will show is, I will not state the person's name for obvious reasons you will see, but this is Claire doxing someone and asking for ways to murder them, which, again, doxing is illegal, and asking for ways to kill them is, again, very problematic and extremely concerning behavior. But you can see as follows. The post was muted, that way the screenshot can be taken without continuing the dox of the person. Again, she also misgendered them, saying that they go by she, her when they are a straight male, and have said so on very many an occasion. But honestly, I don't exactly know what to say here. I feel like this really does speak for itself. Asking for ways and endorsing ways to murder a actual person and doxing them is, again, doxing is illegal, and conspiring ways to murder them is, again, illegal. That is conspiracy to murder, which is an actual criminal charge. Now, the next few screenshots I will show are where the allegations of pedophilia had originally come up from. In these screenshots, Claire consistently refers to children as lollies and shotos. Again, for those who don't know, those are pornographic terms for younger boys and younger girls. Claire also, later stated it was meant to be a joke, but goes on to say that she likes kissing, little boys and things of that nature. And again, another point from earlier, Claire goes on to mention that she's bisexual and uses that as a term of defense, yet in this next screenshot she goes on to say that she doesn't like girls, but simply boys. Let me go ahead and scroll down so you can go ahead and read that. Here you go. I will simply go through it slowly, but you can get a chance to actually read. Going on through, as you can see right here, this screenshot will come up again. As you can see, there's a couple up here to go through. Yeah, it's a lot. And then the next one, as you can see, it says she often refers to IRL little girls and little girl characters as lollies, and IRL little boys and little boy characters as shotas. Again, like I said, both pornographic terms, and heavily sexualizes them, not aging them up or anything, just simply them as kids. And as you can see, it's Claire here using another slur, saying, I don't like girls, I like boys, and I kiss boys really hard in the mouth. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Fucking god, I hated reading that. I'm so sorry. And then Boss, as we mentioned earlier, comes out saying little ones. And then Claire doubles down on that, saying boys, 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 not girls, 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 only boys, boys, boys. And then Boss obviously uses a very famous meme saying you're admitting to liking little boys, noted and saved. Yeah, again, you can see the problem here. Claire doubling down on saying she likes little boys, and obviously the point being brought back earlier where she uses identities as a shield from genuine, questions about their behavior, saying that, she doesn't like girls, even though she claimed on multiple occasions to be bisexual. And as you can see here, she defends Omocat and Yandere Dev, even though they were both called out for being legitimate pedophiles because of what they've made. Which, again, yes, she has, and has gone as far as to make fan projects and be in multiple projects about their content and deflecting any criticism for it. Ooh, excuse me. But that is pretty much all for this one. The next one I will go on to is most of the screenshots I myself collected, a couple being given from other people, so bear with me here. A lot of it is, again, uncensored, so if that is sensitive, if there is sensitive content in there, so if you are sensitive to that kind of thing, feel free, excuse me, feel free to either skip ahead or click off here. Now, this will be the last document I cover for now. I'm going to pause the recording a bit after this, check, just dig around a bit, because there is a whole lot more, but as you can see, this video is like 47 minutes already, and I know y'all don't want to sit here for hours on end, but this document is, like I said, screenshots that I have managed to catch on Claire. And for the first two you see here, one is a reoccurring one, the blocking on getting blocked, going on NSFW and having stuff for a plan, which was, again, as you remember, spamming people with gore, animal gore, NSFW, things of that nature. Right here you see her complaining about, saying they'll never leave her Sona alone. She wants to be left alone permanently. Why can't we leave her alone? Then, not even minutes before posting that, she says terminally online weebs should be shipped in a box to Cambodia, or at least have their devices taken away. Get away from the screen, and especially get away from anime. For those of you who don't know, what it means to ship someone in a box to Cambodia is to dismember them completely and send them to a different country to dispose. Again, it is very difficult to be left alone after saying something such as that. And then again, a couple minutes before that, saying she was going to start a break, staying out of drama and things of that nature, and saying if not, she has another trick up her sleeve to get them to leave her alone. What that trick was same thing as earlier, spamming people with gore, and gore NSFW, animal gore NSFW, things of that nature. Again, genuinely problematic behavior and cause of concern, seeing how most of the people involved and that it was sent to were minors, those ranging from 13 to 16. Again, you can see the problem there. Sending children, gore and NSFW of any sort is very disgusting behavior. Now, these next two screenshots you see here are one with Devin talking about, I have a file on top of file of them that I can swing much harder back at this tard, which is, if you don't know, that is another slur for mentally deficient people. And then Claire saying QRT them, especially the one claiming you're white. That was in response to me. For those of you who don't know, I myself I myself and an Afro-Latino male And at that point in the whole situation, I ended up getting extremely pissed off because both Devin and Claire had both tried to essentially whitewash me, calling me white, cracker, multiple different slurs for white people. And so what I did was essentially just say Devin's white, literally. And every time he called me a white boy, things of the nature, I just said that. And then after that, Claire says, hold up, where is it at? Alright. Anyways, as it says, the tweet you see on top right is saying, "Aren't you actually a transphobic lolicon with an entourage of underage girlfriends that you sent after Claire to attack and harass her with more lies that you kept spreading from your own problems you projected onto her?" For some, that is in response to, again, the user from earlier, Boss Swagmaster. No one really knows where the whole transphobic lolicon thing came from. Claire has simply said that, and both Devin and Reefer just kind of picked that up and ran along with it to use that against her. And then Claire responded to that with saying, "Also, this bitch literally made a burner to defend themselves after getting dragged. How fucking pathetic." Again, what they're referring to in the burner is me. I had stepped in again to kind of alleviate the situation, showing proof of Boss being innocent of what they were trying to call them. And the mention of entourage of underage girlfriends, it's just two people who Boss does not have a relationship with, one being a user that by the name of Shay the Menace, again, and the other being Shed. Again, I really don't know where that came from. It's even after being shown proof that there was nothing romantic or sexual between Shed, Boss, and Shay, both Claire and Devin continued to call them transphobic and a pedophile, things of that nature. And then again, you can see Claire says, "This MF thinks white people experience racism. What a clown." The reason you can't see the post is because this account I was using on that time was mass reported due to Claire consistently posting screenshots of things I was saying to her and asking her followers to mass report me for quote-unquote harassment. And essentially what I was saying is that it wasn't really right of neither Claire, Devin, and admittedly me for, saying, each other's white, things of the nature, and Claire and Devin calling me countless racial slurs against white people. Because, again, no matter the situation, no matter the context, you can be racist towards anybody. It doesn't matter what skin tone you are, you can still be racist towards someone that involves anybody, even white people. Now, these next two screenshots are obviously going to be immediately a little jarring. The first one on the left, Claire says, "You're a cis white lesbian, STFU, and you're the one who's been extensively transphobic towards trans women and biphobic towards bi women. Not to mention obsessively talking about kids and incest. Typical weeb." Shet had responded, "You're cis and white as well." Claire then had said, "And not acting like me being white makes me oppressed unlike this bitch. Racism towards white people doesn't and never will exist, though to be honest, I wish it did. Y'all have been spouting trans misogynistic shit to me for fucking weeks." Again, if you have been paying attention throughout the video, you can obviously see the problem here immediately. For starters, I will explain. The post you see here was mass reported by Claire and her fans, but it was from Boss Flagmaster talking about Claire. The screenshot on the right will help explain it when I get to it. But obviously, as you can see here, the problem is Claire is... I'm sorry, I cannot speak. My allergies are messing with me at the moment. Sorry. But firstly, saying that Boss is transphobic towards trans women. Claire was talking about herself in a previous tweet, even though saying, as you can see here, being a cis white woman. I don't know why she keeps flip-flopping back and forth. It seems like she's simply using an identity as a shield against any sort of criticism. and then talking about mentioning kids and incest. Again, if you've been paying attention and you saw the last one, she seems to bring up the topic of kids a lot. And as for the incest, Claire was mentioning how, I mean, not Claire, I'm sorry, Boss was mentioning how Claire had a weird fetish going for Andrew from the coffin of Andy and Lele, saying she wishes she was his sister and things of that nature. And then on the right, Chet had responded to Claire using a slur for lesbians. I will not say what it is. It begins with a D. You can infer the rest. But Claire kept repeatedly using it against Chet. You see the problem here. I'm sorry. This recording this has got me very disjointed. But Chet goes on to say, please use Google, there is no race mentioned. And again, stop using discrimination of a group you're not a part of to make people look bad. Then Chet shows the definition and explanation of a term meant to be a slur. Claire goes on to say, it's literally used for black lesbians by black lesbians, and you still haven't addressed the biphobia and transphobia. I'm a bi woman who prefers men, not straight. Again, you can see the problem there. Claire's trying to justify using a slur against, lesbians and things of that nature, and then immediately switching back to apparently being a bi woman, I cannot speak, a bi woman of birth, but mind you, not, being a trans woman or anything. All in talking about transphobia against her in the same breath. As you can see, again, Claire's use of slurs, false allegations, and then again switching between using different identities to try and have a shield against any sort of valid criticism against her. Now, here you can see Claire again doubling down on calling herself bisexual, and then later again saying that she is straight. But Chet goes on to say that the D slur applies to every lesbian and you're not black either. Again, I don't see why Claire is trying to make certain slurs and things apply to her when she herself is not a part of that group. And then Claire goes on to say, it literally doesn't, you know nothing about lesbian history, the D slur is for black lesbians only, not white, not Asian, not Latina, but black lesbians, so shut your transphobic, dick-sucking mouth. Again, keep in mind, she is saying this to a teenager. Chet is under the age of 18, Chet is still a child. And again, as we saw earlier, Chet had already shown the definition and explanation of what is, the D slur, yet Claire is ignoring that. And then afterwards, Claire is quote tweeting one of Chet's posts. Again, I cannot see because the post was mass reported by Claire's friends, but it says, look at this transphobe misgendering me. This bitch used the D slur, which is used for black lesbians only, and has made multiple transphobic and biphobic comments. I'm sorry, I just feel my brain melting reading this shit. You can see the problem here. Chet was calling Claire a woman, as she has gone on to state countless times before. So calling them transphobic and saying it's misgendering is immediately not a valid criticism. And the saying that she used the D slur, which is for black lesbians only, again, that is not what it is for. And saying she is transphobic, again, not valid due to Claire's going on multiple occasions to say that she's a cis white woman. And then in the next one, you can see is obviously in response to me. Claire is just telling me to off myself, and that is not only the first time, that is not the first time she has done it. That is one of countless, not only towards me, she has posted that multiple times to Chet, Boss, Shay, and multiple other people involved. Now, these two screenshots, as you can see here, Claire again encouraging someone to off themselves, and then the latter being some more racism pointed towards me, again calling me a white boy and saying that she hates them. These don't need much explaining, obviously. They kind of speak for themselves. Claire instigating self-harm of any sort, and then again, racism of any kind. Now, this next picture is semi-suggestive, so again, if that kind of content is not appealing to you, feel free to skip ahead. It's like a few seconds, or just click off. But again, with that out of the way, this tweet is one that, again, Claire had her friend's mass report, and keep in mind this right here is in response to a minor. Obviously the response isn't the greatest, but whatever. Anyways, the reason this right here is included is because the depictions here are both of minor age characters, one being 14 and one being 15. Yet here's Claire saying that, you know, she ships them, which is, again, shipping together two minor age characters romantically while being a 20-something-year-old woman is obviously telling and very concerning in and of itself. Now, one of these screenshots here obviously is very infamous for Claire, and you might remember it from the first video. I won't explain it too heavily because, I mean, I already went over it, but again, it's about Claire expressing Nazi tendencies and making a very disgusting joke about a fan base. The next one is her essentially endorsing the art from earlier, the gore that you saw, and then of course some more racism, saying dark skin doesn't equal black. Obviously it's 2024, we all know how skin tone works, I'm sure. Again, here is another one inciting mass harassment, again, as you can see, against me. Devin saying, guys, this is the clown that keeps stalking and harassing my friend. And you can see Claire's username of an account which is long since suspended, saying, also calling us both pedophiles with no proof or evidence to support that accusation whatsoever. Not to mention they made this new account to stalk and harass Claire again. That account was made for the simple reason that both Claire and Devin kept posting screenshots of my older accounts asking their followers of their follower base of 500 to 600 to mass report me, which obviously, as you can tell, seeing how a new account had been made, they had done. Ooh, sorry. But as for the pedophile accusations, I had pointed that out due to Claire having sexual fantasies about the murder of minors and spamming minors with NSFW and gore and things of that nature, as well as Devin's earlier drawing of a minor aged character with an adult. And then, as you can see here, I'm sure that screenshot speaks for itself. It's, again, very concerning behavior that should be addressed and talked about. Things of this nature with both Claire, Devin, and their other friend Reefer have been going on for the latter part of 4 years. Like I said, this is extremely concerning, dangerous, and problematic behavior. Now, in these two screenshots, obviously you can see me here. I had responded to Devin essentially saying that I was a pedophilic piece of shit and that I deserved to die for calling both Claire and Devin pedophiles. As you can see my response here, I had said I don't know why bro's trying to sound all formal, he already threw around slurs and death threats. And as you can see him doubling down saying I'll do it again if you don't shut the fuck up. You can see the problem here. And then in the next screenshot, Claire had asked for proof of why I was telling her that she was acting extremely racist, and in one of the screenshots I showed her saying that she hates white boys, and again doubled down on the racism, saying Cracker is so offended I won't fuck him, and then tripling down, mentioning her then boyfriend, saying look at this cracker. You can see the problem here. Telling someone that you'll use slurs against them and death threats if they don't be quiet about what you're doing is not only manipulation, but is also very problematic and concerning behavior that can snowball into much worse things. And again, racism is very much quite self-explanatory. Now, again, in these two screenshots, as you see, more racism. And with the one on the right, I'm sure you can immediately see the problem. Claire is saying she was done about any drama, she was dropping it, others have agreed to do the same. Keep in mind, we had not. Saying that this is the third time she's ended up in anything and that she'll go to head before she ends up at a fourth. I hate to tell you, here's the fourth. And then as you see, more racism. And then I can't show the original tweet because not only had that account I was on been long suspended due to Claire asking for it to be mass reported, but this account Claire has also been suspended. But the tweet I was responding to was Claire calling me the hard R, and I just said, she's saying, look at this hard R being mad that I don't want to fuck him. You can see the issue there. Again, racism in any form is never okay to use. It does not matter if you have an issue with the person. It does not matter what you think of them. Sorry. And then you see another post saying, look what Blood's mad about. Again, the problem there is the fact that she is having romantical ships with minor age characters, one being 14 and the other being 15. And again, or actually I didn't say this last time, I do apologize. The problem there is she is specifically using, for those who don't know Omori, there are the real life versions of the characters and the Headspace characters. Claire has gone on to mention multiple times that she specifically ships the Headspace characters, those two in the picture being Hiro and Mari. Hiro in that image, the Headspace version, is 15 and the Headspace Mari is 14. Keep in mind, Claire herself is in her 20s, shipping minor age characters. Then again, here you go, seeing more racism. That one was thankfully flagged, although I had caught a screenshot before it was taken down. And then on the left, as you see, I essentially called her out on, simping for minors, and then her suddenly changing her story to saying that she sims for the real world hero who is 20, which again is not the one depicted in the many posts she made about him, and then more racism. Again, you can see the problem here. I feel like as it goes on, these don't need that much explaining. It has become blatantly obvious over time if you've sat here and paid attention through the whole video, which again, I do apologize that, holy shit, we are an hour in. If you have sat through it this long, you have to be one strong motherfucker, because this is genuinely making my head hurt. Having to read all this and go over it. And then these two screenshots here, obviously, as you see, just some more racism. And again, she had kept calling me a cracker in the post you see there, so I responded saying nice slurs, I'm actually Afro-Latino. And then afterwards she had said, oh my god, I don't care. So I responded saying, honestly, just making your case worse. And then there you see more racism. Again, racism is never okay, no matter what kind of issues you have with the person. And again, I had responded to that post you saw up there on the right, not this one, the one previously, saying you're just helping me out. And then as you see, more racism. Again, obviously this doesn't need much explanation at this point. This is continuing behavior, constant behavior from Claire. Then here, as you see, just more racism. Her mentioning her boyfriend telling him to gag me, which, just what the fuck at that point. I don't even know what to say to that. Obviously, as you can tell, like I said, I had been personally involved in this. As you see, I do come up a lot. And then in the post I mentioned there, I was telling her that it was ironic coming from her, because she was talking about seeing posts about me on, no, sorry, not about me, about her on my page 24/7 on all of her accounts. For some reason, she had, I mean, honestly, I'm not complaining far too much, but she had dropped going after both Shet and Boss, as well as Shay, and instead decided to focus on me, which I'm not complaining far too much, seeing as how that got things off of them. But her response to that was, "Why are you stalking my accounts?" to reply seconds after every single post I make. "I've been spending more time taking care of IRL stuff. You're always posting, usually 30 things an hour daily. Yada yada yada, more racism." Like I said, this doesn't need much explanation as this goes on. I'm sure you can see the problem here. Again, as you see, she was going on about saying you can't be racist towards white people, and talking about her having a relationship and being bi. I was telling her, even though you're bi, you can still be homophobic. You can still be racist towards white people. That's like saying a black person can't be racist against black people. And she went on to say there's no proof against her, where, as you see, I said there's a whole doc, which is what this is. I'm sorry, it's just, she said doc full of lies, racism, more racism, and then she called me a white boy again, saying as I refused to listen to this person of color, even though her boyfriend was actually white. Meanwhile, I am a person of color. And as you see, the screenshot on the right, far right, has already been covered. So, yeah, it's... like I said, this doesn't need much explaining as it goes on. I'm sure you can see the problem here. Again, the one on the left, more racism, doesn't really need to be covered. And on the right, I had, again, gotten suspended. That's what the new Sundanimo account was. Then I had the Sundanimo alt. I had posted on Devin's post talking to Shed. He was, again, spamming the murder fic art to them. And I had simply commented, "Why are you doing this?" to a minor of all people. And as you can see, as follows. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh. There we go. And then what he means by getting the shovel is a death threat. He is saying he's going to murder me and then bury me in his backyard. But that is all for now. Because I mean, most of it after that is simply just the same thing, just racism on top of racism. There is going to be more. I do have a lot more screenshots I would like to share. I'm going to pause the recording real quick and get that all together. But do be prepared. It is very sensitive, and well, yeah, I'm sure you can see the problem. Well, you can't really see it as you got nothing but a blank screen here, but it is more sexual remarks and Claire comparing herself to an actual pedophile / groomer. So, be right. Obviously, for you, it might not take forever. It'll probably be maybe a second, but for me, this is going to be God knows how long. Now, thanks to the magic of pausing recordings, nothing has changed for you between the last 2 seconds. But for me, it has been the better part of a half hour collecting things, and it's bad. Now, before I start this final part, I just want to say, this is extremely sexually charged and disgusting messages. If that is not for you, feel free to click off here, or, well, and after this, that's all for now, so I guess just click off here if you want. And if you are clicking off, I just want to say thank you for watching this far, and I hope you leave here informed. Whatever you do with the information is up to you, but I do ask that you do not harass anybody mentioned or shown in this video so far. But overall, you must have a strong stomach if you're sitting through an hour and 14 minutes of this. But again, thank you for watching this far, and enjoy the rest of your day. Now, for those who are staying, I'm going to reiterate. these are extremely sexually charged messages and are very disgusting. So, with that out the warning, with that out, with that warning out the way, I guess let's just get into it. So, here's the first one. This is, as you can see, or you may not know, but that account right there is me. And keep in mind, a lot of this has happened as I was recording this video. So, think about that. Anyways, this is in response to Claire talking about, what's taking me so long to drop the video, or why am I not dropping things with her, and talking to people. The tweet will come up later, but you could see my response, and again, you can see the issue here. No one is making this video because Claire doesn't like a fandom or a game. I am making this video to bring awareness to their disgusting, harmful, and at times illegal behavior. And again, as you can see here, she is using sexual assault as a threat. Take that as you will. And I'm also, by hundreds of people, what she means is, I had made a post before I'd started recording this, asking anybody who has interacted with Claire before, if they have any proof, any testimonies, or anything they'd just like to say. Now, unfortunately for the video, a lot of those people have asked to remain anonymous and not to be included. Which, again, with the things that I've been told, I do not blame them, frankly. Honestly, I couldn't even show most of the things because it is genuinely deplorable behavior. The things I can cover, I'll just state right now because there aren't many, but they fall under the lines of manipulation, blackmail, asking people to take accountability for her actions, that way she doesn't get in trouble, pedophilia, grooming, and things of that nature. Like I said, I cannot go into detail, as many of the people who, and keep in mind, most of these people are above age, so there isn't very much I can do in the way of, their wishes or reportment. I will leave that up to them. Although, to those of you who did reach out, let me move this out of the way. That way we're not both staring at that as I say this. Let me just move that. But, to those of you who did reach out, firstly, I just want to say thank you very much. I appreciate the insight that you were able to give me on your experiences and your situation with Claire and the things she has done. Goodness. And I just want to say, do not beat yourself up about it. You cannot be to blame for someone else's actions. It is not your fault that she is the way she is, and she has done the things shown and to you. I will not go into detail, as, again, a lot of people have asked not to, or to not even be mentioned. So, all I will say is, it is not your fault that you were pulled into this. I just ask that you don't beat yourself up and get the appropriate help that you need if you do need it. Do not let this eat at you. Again, it is not your fault for her behavior. Now, let us go back on this shitty fucking rabbit hole, I guess. Like I said, a lot of these are very sexually charged images. And what's ironic is, in a later tweet that you will see, she is discussing people masturbating to her in the thought of her being arrested or jailed for any of her actions. But as you can see here, yeah, you see the problem. This just goes on and on. Yeah, see, here it is. And here's that tweet from above. You saw the quote. That's what that was. This was in one of the responses. And here she is talking about loving the attention she was getting, saying that this is what she was doing it all for and what she wanted from the start. And yeah. Also, she talks about her not getting arrested. I'm going to cover that real quick. And I know Claire is watching this. You have been reported multiple times. When I told you you were in the clear, I was not being truthful. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. And we see what that has sprung. This is disgusting behavior. Just flat out. And there's a whole lot more, as you can see from that bar on the side. But I will say, those reports will probably come down to something. Let's just go on, I guess. Again, there's a whole masturbation thing, talking about using slurs and stuff like that against FNF fans just because you don't like the game. Frankly, this is light potatoes compared to everything earlier, so we're just gonna breeze through it. Same thing here. And then she went under the previous video, left some comments. So, before I get into that, let's check this latter part of the tweet. Here she is saying, oh my god, I love the attention so much. And then here she is fantasizing about the sexual assault of somebody. Again, you can see the issue here. Bright as day. Let me just move that out the way. Or, we're just going to move this whole thing. I'm going to say this here. I could give a rat's ass how you feel about a person. Hoping for them to be sexually assaulted or harmed in any sort of way is never okay. Sexual assault is not a joke. It is not a laughing matter. It is not something you should use as a tool or a threat to get someone to be silent. That is genuinely disgusting and deplorable behavior, and threats of sexual assault, mind you, are illegal. Keep that in mind as we go through the rest of this. Again, here are the comments that she had left on their previous video. I have long since removed them. Reasons you can obviously see. Here she is comparing herself to Amor. For those who don't know, Amor Ultra is a well-known pedophile, so comparing yourself to him is, again, very concerning. Here she is again attempting to throw accusations against Camilla, who we have talked about before, and then again talking about touching herself and being sexual towards this whole thing. Again, very degenerate and disgusting behavior, but yes, light potatoes compared to everything else. Oops, sorry, this thing is tweaking out. Again, here's more, and then here are DMs that she has sent me, saying that this is all for attention, this is what she's been seeking, so on and so forth. And this latter part is a more so serious tweet. This is where I had asked people, if there's anything that they share, to reach out, either privately, comment under there, things of that nature. This person here obviously had something that they would like to say, and I told them it was fine, and then there you go. Keep in mind, this person is someone who has also been affected by Claire. I have not had a chance to fully talk to them just yet, so I will not really mention anything at the moment. Of course, there will be more. I can guarantee you that. So I will do my best to keep you all updated on this. But, again, to a very serious thing, she comments this. I don't even know what to say here. Saying you'll put someone into a human centipede and that they will die soon because of it is disgusting, illegal, and just downright fucking deplorable. I'm frankly at a loss of words. Here's just, again, another just making more jokes about her being revealed as who she is. More and more saying the same thing over and over again. And then again, sexual harassment jokes. Not funny, and sexual harassment is not a joking matter. It is not something you should wish upon somebody. And more, and again, the earlier thing about using different identities as a shield, she had claimed countless times to be bisexual, yet here you go, contradicting behavior. I frankly don't know what to say at this point. More DMs saying that she'll never get arrested or deplatformed for this behavior. It's just going to give her more clout and attention. Frankly, she's right. Or halfway right. She could never be arrested. She could never be deplatformed. I will say this though, that relies on all of you. Whatever you do with this, like I said, do not harass anybody. Just, frankly, however any of you choose to go about that, that is on you. I just simply ask you to not harass. If you're going to report this, report it. Do whatever it is you need to do, just so long as you are not harassing or attacking anybody involved. And more, yeah, she's, again, like I said, as I have said countless times in this video and in my previous video, and as you will see in the description here, I have said to not harass anybody. So, I'm frankly out of words at this point. I guess let's just go on. And again, I called her out for this right here. This follows up with it. Like I said, yeah, again, more sexual jokes about her being made public. This is not even relating to her. I'm sorry, I frankly don't know what to say at this point. The fact I've been going on this for an hour is batshit fucking insane. I'll just let these speak for themselves at this point. Here she is talking about liking the attention, and then for someone who's talking about people having the inability to shut up, you have commented quite a lot, and albeit in very fucked up manners. And then here she is talking about FNF fans being subhuman and deserving to be enslaved. First of all, what the fuck? That is not something you should hope on somebody, and calling people subhuman just for things they like, that's a mixed bag. Although FNF, it's simply a kid's rhythm game. Yeah. And then, to end this all off, first of all, I don't know who Jan is or who Soul is. They have not come up once, so whatever. And that first part, as you see, I've already long since corrected. Yes, Camilla is not 16. They are 22. I did mess up on there. Or not 23, they are 22. That has come from Camilla themselves. And then, the end-all, be-all, saying that she has never discussed any sexual things, tendencies, or kinks with anyone young. Yet again, if you've been paying attention this entire time, not only did she send sexual images to multiple minors, but she also talked about sexual things to do to people who are under the age of 18. That is all for now. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure how to end this. I will say, any of you who have stuck around thus far, I do genuinely appreciate you for doing so. I know this is not something easy to sit through, as it is frankly quite disgusting on unreasonable levels. And lastly, again, do not harass anyone shown or mentioned in this video. This is for informational purposes, and do what you will. Just do not fight fire with fire. If you're going to report, block, whatever it is you choose to do. Do not do the very same things that they have done. And I will end this here. To all of you who've sat through this entire hour and a half of disgusting bullshit, I genuinely feel bad for you. I know this is not something easy to watch. I know these aren't things that are very comfortable to see. But again, this is disgusting behavior that is needed to be shown. Claire has been doing this for years. Again, let me say that once more. They have been doing this for years. All of what I've shown here is simply from November to now. That this is nowhere near all of it. And anybody who has been affected by Claire that is watching this, I just wish to say, I dearly apologize for the things you have went through. I may not know all of it, but the very few I do know, and from what I can guess, you deserve some sort of peace, and I hope that this video is able to bring that. If you need any help, I do hope you were able to get it, and that you can just move on and live your life after this. I do hope that this is not something you have to worry about anymore. With that being said, that's all for now. I will keep you all updated. This is Sunday Namau, aka Matt, signing off.